Hello everyone, and welcome back to our channel. Today, we're journeying back in time to an era when empires were forged and legends were born. Our story begins after the great king Sargon united the fertile lands of Sumer. As his dynasty weakened in the ancient city of Ur, an old man named Terah made a momentous decision. "Everyone," he declared, "we must move." And so their epic journey began. His son Abraham would later follow a divine call, traveling to a promising new land called Canaan. A unique tradition was passed down through their family, a special blessing reserved for the firstborn son. But when it came to Abraham's grandson Jacob, things took a strange turn. Jacob was the younger twin, but he was incredibly clever and a bit mischievous. One day, his older brother Esau came in from the fields, absolutely starving. Jacob was cooking a fragrant stew of red lentils. With just that one bowl of stew, he convinced his famished brother to trade away his precious birthright. As you can imagine, when Esau realized what he'd done, he was furious. This trick forced Jacob to flee for his life, leaving his home far behind. Many years passed. When Jacob was an old man, he decided to return to his homeland. On the way, something truly mysterious happened. One night, Jacob found himself wrestling with an angel until dawn. His strength and sheer determination were so immense that the angel finally said, "Your name shall no longer be Jacob." And so, around 1900 BC, he was given a new name, Israel, which means he who strives with God. Jacob, now Israel, had 12 sons, but his heart held a special place for one of them, Joseph. Joseph wasn't just his father's favorite. He had an extraordinary gift. He could see the future through dreams. This gift, however, made his older brothers incredibly jealous. In a terrible act of betrayal, they sold him into slavery in Egypt. But what seemed like a disaster was actually part of a much bigger plan. It was Joseph's amazing ability to interpret dreams, specifically the Pharaoh's dream of 7 fat cows and 7 skinny cows. That catapulted him from a prison cell to the position of vizier, the second most powerful man in Egypt. His foresight saved the entire nation from a devastating 7-year famine. Then, that same severe famine spread across the entire ancient world, and Joseph's family back in Canaan ran out of food. Desperate, Jacob sent his sons to Egypt to buy grain, and who did they have to petition for food? None other than the powerful vizier, their long-lost brother Joseph. Of course, they didn't recognize him at all. Joseph could have taken revenge for what they did to him years ago. But instead, he chose a path of incredible kindness and forgiveness. He embraced his trembling brothers and told them, "Do not be distressed. It was God who sent me here ahead of you to save lives." The Pharaoh was so grateful for Joseph's wisdom that he invited Jacob's entire family to come and live in Egypt. So, between 1898 and 1876 BC, the whole clan moved to the fertile land of Goshen. There, protected by the gratitude of the Egyptians, they lived in peace and began to grow into the great nation of Israel. While the Israelites were settling in Egypt, the rest of the world was just as dynamic. South of Egypt, along the winding Nile River, pharaohs were leading armies to conquer Lower Nubia, where the powerful kingdom of Kush was rising. The Egyptians built massive mud brick forts to secure their borders and guard their precious gold mines. It was a long struggle, and Egypt wouldn't fully control the region until around 1500 BC. Meanwhile, in distant Mesopotamia, two legendary kings were building their nations in completely different ways. First, there was King Shamshi-Adad of Assyria around 1808 BC. He was a fierce warrior who dreamed of recreating Sargon's great empire, complete with a sophisticated government system. A few years later, in 1792 BC, King Hammurabi of Babylon took the throne. Hammurabi understood that true power wasn't just in swords and armies, but in justice. He created his famous code of 282 laws, carving them onto a tall black stone pillar for all to see, bringing a new sense of fairness to his people. Heading north, into modern-day Turkey, the Hittites rose to power around 1600 BC. They were masters of a new technology that would change the world forever: iron. They forged powerful weapons and built swift, lightweight chariots that dominated the battlefield. And far to the east, in China, the Shang dynasty was flourishing. They constructed grand wooden palaces, cast magnificent bronze vessels, and developed one of the world's first writing systems, scratching characters onto oracle bones to record their history. The world back then was like a giant, vibrant painting, with each civilization adding its own unique color and texture. Whether through the power of forgiveness, like Joseph, the strength of law, like Hammurabi, or the innovation of iron, like the Hittites. Everyone was striving, in their own way, to build a lasting legacy.